Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Zane, August 25th, 2024. That would make it the 293rd edition of this little weekly broadcast of sorts. Good to have you all in there. Peggy and Carl is in there. Steve Shirley's in there. My dad is in there from beautiful South Georgia. Daryl is in there from Florissant, Missouri. Jimbo Miller's in there from Omaha, Nebraska. Good to have you all in there. Get adjust my things here. Well, there you go. So, geez, I just walked in the door about maybe an hour and a half ago. Had a little quick trip to South Florida for a friend of mine, colleague, work acquaintance of mine, wrote a book earlier this year, and she invited me to the book launch along with some other colleagues. So I went down on Friday to West Palm Beach and attended the book launch yesterday. Maybe 20 people or so, people that have worked with her and her are friends of hers and whatnot. So it was kind of fun. I had one of my students from the academy that I lead, who lives in the area down there. He tagged along with me and got his first sort of taste of a work quasi work related event. So that was kind of fun anyway. But I stayed last night and flew back today. Just got back about an hour and a half, I guess, ago. And so here's what happened. Lori is in there. You can see her there. She's probably, so I get on the plane. I'm heading to Florida on Friday. And we pushed back from the gate, taxiing out. And Lori messaged me that she's going to the hospital. The doctor ordered her to go get checked into the hospital, and I'm like, holy sugar, I can't do anything about it. And I said, well, I'll, when I get down there, I'll turn around and come back. And but Lori would never want me to do that. But she knew exactly what was going to happen. The doc wanted to get her in there. They're still troubleshooting her stomach, and I think they thought it would be easier to do in a more controlled environment. But I'll let Lori pipe in about that. But anyway, so she's checked into the hospital. I checked into South Florida, and anyway, she's actually on her way home now. Our daughter Hannah is picking her up um, and bringing her home. So evidently, the doc did what he wanted to do in the time frame or whatever. But and I think the most important thing was to have her in a controlled environment where they could get her hydrated again and all of that. Anyway, so now she's heading home, um, and then I think she'll see her primary care physician this week. But I know she's really getting tired of the back and forth for sure, as she should be. Um, she has she has endured a lot. But anyway, so it's crazy. Let's see. Jim's in there. Matt Aaron's in there. Ken's in there. Hey, everybody. Good to have you in there. So I did. Lori had me do a little mission while I was there. Our son Tyler, um, who passed now, coming up on a year here in a week or so. Um, we had him cremated, and when we were in Omaha, when was that, Lori? Back in March or April, anyway. We took some ashes there and scattered them in a couple of places. And then he was always a beach guy. And then right up until his demise, um, he had these plans about going down to South Florida for, and a friend of his was helping him coordinate all this for treatment, um, and then resident sort of treatment process. He never made it. So anyway, Lori had me take some of his ashes and scattered them on the beach there. So I was happy to do that Friday afternoon. Yeah, it's tough for sure. But so anyway, I'm back. Lori's back, or Lori's on her way back, and now we'll see what this week has in store for us. Not me. I'm healthy, but Lori is still trying to battle it. Still trying to figure this thing out um, with her stomach. But hope they get it. Hope they get it taken care of. Anyway, that's where we're at on that. I know that the Offutt Air Force Base Air Show was this weekend. Did any of you happen to attend? I know the Thunderbirds did something very nice, and then they dedicated their show today, I think, to Corporal Dagan Page, who we all are familiar with, who's buried there at Omaha National Cemetery. The Thunderbirds dedicated the show to Corporal Page as the fallen warrior of the Defenders of Freedom and Airspace Show. I guess that was the name of the Offutt show, but very kind of the T-Birds to do that. Was it hot, Steve-O? Is it hot up there? I was, I was down near Miami. It was like 80, 82. It was absolutely fantastic. I was expecting oppressive humidity and heat, and it was not. But yeah, they were. South Florida was 20 degrees cooler than you guys, Steve. Yeah, I don't blame you out there on the flight line at 101. Nah, I probably would. I probably would. But anywho, hopefully it was a good show. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys. One of the young ladies in our office in London, who I know, swore into the RAF reserves last week. I knew she was leaning that way, and she told me when I was there a couple weeks ago. But she actually got sworn in, and now I think she reports to basic training in October. So that's kind of cool. She'll continue to work for us, but go into the reserves. Kind of cool. That kind of ties in. I was telling you guys about there's a young man there in the Army Reserve called Alex, and they don't do anything special over there for reservists or guardsmen like they do here, where you hold your job. They get days for training. Well, now they do. They get an extra 15 days for their annual training. So that's a good thing. Yep, my friend Stacy made sure that happened. She's the HR director over there. So we got that all worked out. All right. Well, let's see. I didn't get to watch any Braves games this weekend, but I did keep up. I know that the Braves took 2 out of 3 against the Phillies. I'll take that all day long. And then 2 out of 3 against the Nats. And see, I think they have Monday off, and I think they're playing tomorrow. Where are they playing, Dad? Anyway, they're still 6 games behind the Phillies, so still time to catch up. But every time we lose, we have to hope the Phillies lose just to stay even. But all right, we'll see how that goes. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. You guys have probably guessed the hat of the week. Can you see the hat of the week? Let's see. There you go. Hat of the week always has something to do with what the heck is going on around here at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. Yeah, the twins. That's right. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, I did look it up, but I couldn't remember. So the hat of the week is I just found this Florida hat I had from I don't know, one of my trips down there, and that became the hat of the week. That was an easy decision there. Okay, well, let's see. Military this week in military history. Had a couple items. One item was that on August 24th, I think this is right, August 24th of 1814. 1814, we took a little trip. The British burned the White House. Did you guys know that? It was in 1814, the British burned the White House. And it was in August of 1814. And I don't think anybody was killed, and the president at the time he was away or out, but ended up serving out his term in another. Let's see what did it say. Well, I had it pulled up here, but another location. Yeah, I don't know. Pull it up now. Let's see. So next thing, a little closer to home for the Air Force folks here, on August 23rd of 1954. So 70, I guess that's 70 years ago. August 23rd, 1954. The first flight of the C-130. Wow. First flight of the C-130. I think it was called the YC-130 at the time. But many variants and production iterations have come along the way. They're still cranking them out at the plant here in Marietta. And in fact, my son Jackson flew on some of the newest ones, the J models, the gunship, the AC-130Js, which are the new airframes, new power plants, all that stuff. So how about that? Happy birthday, C-130. All right. Well, how about Veteran Cemetery Challenge, Jefferson Barracks? I know Daryl made a visit today. I saw that. Daryl, was a quarter there? I saw a quarter. You had a quarter on the headstone. Did you have to replace it? You have to get a trail cam set up out there. Of course, my dad and my sis make visits out to Evergreen. And those were the only visits I know of this week, but that'll give us 4 visits. We're at 1,253 visits to cemeteries where there are veterans that this relatively small group of patriots have made over the years. I don't know how long we've been doing it, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. And then, of course, we've been thanking veterans or having interactions with veterans or running across veterans and telling them we appreciate them or whatever the case. And I had one today actually at Palm Beach International, PBI, West Palm Beach. There was the guy at the Delta counter when I checked my bag in was an Army vet, had an Army vet pin on there, so we had a good chat. And then I thanked an active duty soldier at the airport as he was trying to get his duffel bag off the belt there. And then Ken was out of town this week for some of his contracting work, I believe, consulting work. But let's see what Ken had there. Ken's one Space Force colonel at Orlando. Okay, nice. Two Army vets at the gate. Excellent. During a layover, popped into the USO in Denver, Korean warband. Nice. Two naval officers. Awesome. Then while at the base, 19 different Air Force vets. How about that, Ken? You always get these big weeks when you go on the road, that's for sure. 25 for the week, Ken. That's awesome. That is awesome. I know you told us last week to expect a big week, and you delivered. That's fantastic. Good stuff. Well, what do those people say to you, Ken, when you strike up a conversation or when you say thanks or what's the typical response that you get? I know that it varies. At least for me, it varies depending on if they're active duty, if they're veterans, if they're wearing a ball cap, if they're, you know, whatever the circumstances. There's often you know, some variation of how they respond. But I did get several thank yous myself this week. Probably five or so thank yous. I was either wearing a hat or a shirt or something. Um, and got a bunch of thank yous this week. But then I appreciate it. I'll tell folks, well, thank you for when they say thanks, I'll say, well, hey, I appreciate that, or hey, it was my pleasure, something like that. But yeah, good stuff. Well, Ken, thank you for logging all those. So that'll be 27 for the week. Drum roll. 27 takes us to 47. 47 plus 20 is 47. So 2,947 is where we sit. So we need 53 to make it to our 3,000. How about that? We send Ken out on the road again. We'll have we'll get closer. But that's awesome, Ken. I know those trips must be special for you to sort of get back into onto the base and into the environment. I bet it's interesting for sure. And I saw that you had some friends, Ken, visit your folks at Arlington this past week. I think it was this past week. That's special. I always love it when somebody visits Zane, for sure. So I know that was a good feeling. All right. Well, let's see. I don't have anything new to report on the organization front. Um, let's see. We did have I read about this. There was an update. This happened back in May, but there was an update to this in the Stars and Stripes this week. There was a retired lieutenant colonel called James Wright, 53 years old. He was from a small town in South Carolina. He was evidently, when he retired, he was a member of the South Carolina National Guard. And he, back in May 26th, um, turns out that he jumped off of the Royal Caribbean ship called Icon of the Seas. It's the largest cruise liner in the world. So he basically killed himself. There was what they determined, and there was a whole story behind, how it transpired and all that stuff. But anyway, just certainly sad for sure. Okay, well, I'll tell you, that is all I've got for this week. I'm excited about this week. We're doing our planning at work for September 11th for 9/11. I remember I think I mentioned last week about some of the activities we're going to lower. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 American flags at 5 of our facilities in the St. Louis area, and we're going to one of our veterans are going to be there to lower the flag at 7:54. Forget the time. Whatever the time the first plane struck the first tower, it was like 8:47 or something like that Eastern time. But St. Louis is in Central anyway. So I've got veterans lined up to lower the flag at those 5 locations. And then at 5 o'clock that afternoon, we're going to raise them back up. So that'll be a first. We've not done that before at work, and it gives us an opportunity to explain to people why we're doing that, and not take for granted that they know about 9/11, because there's people that work now alongside us that were not even born on 9/11. So yeah, crazy. And this week I was asked, speaking of work and veterans, this week I was asked by somebody at the company if I would speak to one of our customers. I love customers. That's how we make money. We have customers. I'm in the business of that, of tech. Now I'm teaching people how to have these interactions with customers and whatnot. But so somebody on one of the teams asked me if I would speak to their customer who is a veteran, who wants to learn some best practices about a veterans organization inside their company. It's MetLife. MetLife is the name of the company. You've heard of MetLife. Anyway, so I'll be chatting with a guy there this week. I don't know his name yet. I've not met him, but I'll let you guys know how that goes. Should be fun. All right, folks. Well, that is all I've got for the day. I'm going to wrap it up here, try to get myself in a position for work tomorrow, and make sure everything is ready to welcome Lori home downstairs. Make sure all the porch lights are on, and she's got a pathway in through the house and everything. So get her set up. But thank you guys for joining. Speaking to Zane again this evening, and we look forward to doing it again next week, which will be, gosh, will we be in September next week? Yeah. September 1st. Yeah, next Sunday will be September 1st. So we got 1 week left in August, but we look forward to seeing everybody next week, which will be the 294th edition of Speaking of Zane. We're getting up on to 300. How about that? That'd be kind of cool. But thank you all. Thank you all for sharing your cemetery visits, your veteran interactions, sharing about organizations that you're involved with or are aware of, and appreciate you guys doing that. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next Sunday night. Like I said, 3 times now, September the 1st. Take care. Have a great week, everybody. Be good.